Hello peeps, welcome to another patch video on my channel. So this is going to be a slightly shorter video than the last one, because this is obviously a smaller patch than the other one was, when the rule of the Senate came out, like 1.2. Because as you can see here, down here, this is game version Argent, which is the patch 1.2, but it's 1.2.2. This is a small fixing update to the big one, basically, because there are some things that needed to be addressed in a new patch, basically. And this is, as I said, it's a small one, but I'm doing this because I don't have time to make a longer video today. Basically, so we're going to go through everything that's inside this patch. It's a very small one, as I said, so we're going to be able to go through everything that's on the patch list and see if there is any big differences to what they have done to the game. It's mainly, as I said, some bug fixes. So it's going to be kind of interesting to go through them, because I have checked them, and some of those things I have noticed inside the game, basically. So we're just going to go ahead and look at it inside the game. Okay, so here we are inside the game, and the first thing I was going to look at is actually when it comes to the ruler designer. Just like last time around, I'm going to check it Sweden. We're going to create our own ruler, because there's one slight change here. Well, it's not only one slight change, it's like actually a couple of changes. And one of those is fix the ruler designer crashing when using the arrow keys to move sliders on machine with limited RAM. So basically those sliders, if you use the keys, it can make your computer crash, and that's supposed to be changed now. Nice. And this is also some other things when it comes to ruler designer, and see if I can see them inside the... When you ruler design a character, you will no longer lose all non-de jure vassals that ruler had. So apparently, when you ruler design the character, like Sweden for example, we're going to be playing as a man, he's going to be hetero. If I made this king into the king, I could potentially lose my de jure vassals, because of a bug obviously, and that was a bad thing. So it's nice that they fixed that. And let me see here if there are some other things that we're going to check here. Ruler designer. You now get less points from being extremely old when ruler designing a character. So if we go for like here, as you can see, the customization points, they stop increasing above 62. When you're above 70, it doesn't go down anymore. It only goes 1 and 20. But when you go above 70 years old, you stop gaining extra, losing like points, gaining extra points to use. So that's 70 years old is the limit. You can go down to 66 points by being this age, or we are at 66 right now because of the traits and education we have. But that's the 70 is the lowest you can go for, basically. Then there's also change more to ruler designer, and we noticed this in my last video. If you're below 18 years old and you change your appearance, we are going to look. He is going to be a Northern European, obviously, because he is a Northern European. Customize further. Hairstyle. This didn't exist when you were below 18 when I did my last video, and they have actually fixed this. So the actual text is: fixed not always having access to all hairstyles when ruler designing a character that is 18 years old or younger. So that's something that they have changed, and they have fixed it. So we can finally actually gain a hairstyle already in the ruler designer, not having to wait to get inside the game. Apparently I don't have any beards though. I wonder if that's just about the guy being so young that he can't have a beard yet. So if you go to 18 or 19, then he gets facial hair. Above 18 you get facial hair. That's kinda... It's not that true. You can have facial hair before 18, obviously. I'm proof of that myself. I had facial hair before I was 18. Actually growing a beard when I was before 18. I guess that's something that they might have to address. Like a Swede not being able to have facial beard at 16, it doesn't really make sense, in my appearance. Okay, so we're just going to go for a random Torkel bot. That's the guy we're going to play as. We're not going to care about the points, because there aren't any more important things when it comes to ruler designer now. Kicking a player that's still inside the ruler designer will no longer block a multiplayer game from starting. That's another change. I see. I think that's the only things when it comes to ruler designer. So we're going to go inside the game. Okay, so here we are inside the game playing as Torkel Båt of Sweden. He's terrible. But that's not the importance here. We're going to go through all of the patch notes now. So the first one is, you can hold the control key when raising armies to not have them be split based on supply when you raise them. This is something that I didn't notice inside my own game when I was playing it. You're trying to raise your troops. I don't have enough troops now though, that's the issue. If we just change this, we are going to switch character and we're going to play as the Byzantine Empire play. Here we go, because they have a bigger army. And I'm trying to raise my 8 levy in a place with very low supply. So where can we see the supply limit? That's 5k. Is there anyone with lower than 5k here? Yeah, Cyprus. If we try to raise our troops here in Cyprus, they're going to get split up, as you can see. They're getting split up in different places because the supply limit is too low. So if we press this while holding control, they're all going to be raised in the same place, even though they're actually going to go above the supply limit. And this is very nice, because sometimes you want to raise your entire levy, or your, more often than not, your men-at-arms, like I did in my Roman campaign. I like to raise my men-at-arms in one spot, and then be able to attack with only my men-at-arms. Basically, like, your opponent is moving into a holding, and you raise your entire men-at-arms in that specific holding, and they get raised instantly, meaning that you can annihilate, basically murder your opponent's army by assaulting them from behind. Basically, they're not ready for it. It just happens. But because your armies will get split up, that weren't possible. But now it's changed. I do like that. Then we have the fixed the ruler designer crashing. Fix some characters not having access to cultural names when naming children because the religion didn't have any religious name defined. Okay, I see. So they have added in some extra names to some religions. Fix the crash that could happen when randomizing dynasty name for certain cultures in the ruler designer. I missed that one inside the ruler designer. So if you try to randomize dynasty names for certain cultures, the game would crash. Fix the legacies button being hidden beyond the screen if both dynasty and house modifiers are present. So if we go into the house, legacies. So if both dynasty and house modifiers were open, you wouldn't see this one. The legacies button. I see. That's good to know. So they have fixed that, even though I didn't even know that was a fact, but apparently they have fixed it. Fix the AI not always supporting the player correctly when handling massive armies. We noticed this in our Holy Roman Restoration playthrough. We were going for a crusade here in Jerusalem, and we were fighting together with the Pope. I think it was my Holy Roman Restoration one. We lost that crusade. Together with the Pope, I'm playing as Francia. Together we had more armies than the Abbasids had, basically. Our army was stronger. But we were split up. The Pope was running around with his army, I was running around with my army. And I couldn't really attach my army to the Pope because he had many smaller armies, and they were basically doing different stuff. Meaning that the Abbasid could pick us up, picking us one army at a time and kill all of us. And I hope that sentence means that the AI is going to, if you together have a big enough army to defeat the opponent, that the AI is actually going to attach to you, so you can use that big army to defeat your opponent. Hopefully, that's what that sentence means, because that's something that has been annoying me a lot since we started this game, or since the last patch note, basically. Fix not being able to build certain buildings when playing the game in Spanish. I haven't played the game in Spanish, but for you who plays the game in Spanish, hopefully that's going to be something that you enjoy. And that's a very good thing, actually, that they're going to change that. Fixed siege sounds sometimes persisting after you close the siege window. That's something that we also noticed in one of our campaigns. We had done a siege and the siege sound persisted for over 10 minutes. And it was killing me. So I'm very happy that they actually have addressed that and they have fixed it. because it was very annoying to have very loud siege sound going on for 10 minutes while you're not actually doing a siege at all. So thank you, Paradox, for fixing that. I'm very happy. Remove the depreciated nudity game rule. Nudity is now toggled on/off in the settings menu, accessible in the same place as the toggle displaying graphical diseases. So we're going to check that. So we go into settings, it's down here, and that's not the right one, the game, and show nudity, it's down here by graphical diseases. No longer a game rule, it's something that you can change in your settings, and that's actually very good for us playing on recording on YouTube if we don't want nudity inside our playthrough. It's very easy to toggle it on and off, and before you can only do that once while actually setting up the save. So I do like that. Thank you, Paradox. The lifestyle focus button is no longer visible on characters that cannot have a lifestyle set. So basically, dead people. So if we go into the Byzantine Empire, and we go for title history, and we go for the last emperor, he doesn't have a shows lifestyle thing here. But before this patch, he would actually have that there, having it show that he could potentially choose a lifestyle, even though he's actually dead. So that's good. Kicking a plate is still inside the ruler designer. We was going through that when ruler designer, the hairstyles, you now get less points from being extremely old when ruler designing a character. Yes, we went through that. Fix the list of fates exceeding its limit when playing the game in a non-English language. Obviously, I'm only playing the game in English, so I don't know about this firsthand, but if that's something that have been bothering people, it's a good thing that they have addressed that. Criminal rulers no longer get a free pass on imprisoning without impunity. So if you were a criminal ruler, you could actually imprison a person without getting the opinion penalty to everyone because of basically tyranny. Apparently, that's like how I'm reading the sentence. Like impunity, you need to have a reason to imprison someone, so you don't get a free pass on doing it. You need to have a reason to imprison a person to not get the tyranny gain. And apparently you could actually get around that by being a criminal yourself. Okay. Diplomacy perk modifiers are now added and subtracted properly. Sound foundations and friendly counsel. So if we go into lifestyles, into diplomacy, sound foundations and friendly counsel. Apparently they haven't been working properly. Pardon me. So apparently they weren't working as they should, and now they are. Nice. Fixed losing piety when imprisoning generic criminals now properly only applies when imprisoning your head of fate. So you shouldn't lose piety when imprisoning criminals. It's not a non-pious thing to do to imprison someone that's actually a criminal. But imprisoning your head of fate is going to make you lose piety. Kinda makes sense, because he's basically the vicar of the god on earth. If you're basically imprisoning the Pope, for example, he hates us because we are Orthodox. Fixed an issue with floating or sinking infant characters in the main menu. Exorcism successful. Okay, that was kinda a Paradox joke, apparently. But apparently in the loading screen or the main menu you can see floating infants. So it's a good thing they fixed that. It's mainly a graphical bug. Fix the memory leak in the GUI editor. Nothing for most of us to care about. Fix the memory leak for character portraits. This could have a significant effect in the ruler designer and a lesser one during normal play. Okay. Fixed achievements sometimes being shown as unavailable even though they were available. I have actually noticed that. Sometimes you can see achievements not being able to basically be done, even though you actually haven't done the achievement and it should be available for you. Because you're playing on Iron Man, you haven't changed the game enough to not be playing on Iron Man, basically. So it's a good thing to have addressed those things. And that's actually, guys, the entire patch. It's kind of a small one. It's not a big patch. We went through the entire patch notes. Not like I did the last time, because we were only picking and choosing different stuff. This was the entire patch. It's mainly a couple of bug fixes. The biggest thing for me is the control key when raising troops. So you're able to raise them all in the same area, meaning that you don't have to basically, you have to raise them and then have to put them together inside the same place. and do it like that to make sure they're not raising more troops that you want to in this area. So that's a very good thing, Paradox. I do enjoy that. I'm just going to disband everyone, otherwise I'm going to feel like OCD here. That's basically the biggest thing in this patch note. Except like the things with the rule of designer and hairstyles, as well as the siege sounds being an issue. Basically. And also the taking away the nudity, toggling the nudity, it's something inside the settings now instead of when setting up the games in the game rules. So it's basically inside here, which you cannot change right now because I'm already playing the game. Because beforehand you had toggle nudity inside this place, and you couldn't change that while being inside a playthrough, basically. So that's a very good thing. So I hope you have enjoyed this small going through this, guys. That's the Seleucid Empire, right? It surely is. The Turks. I haven't actually ever played in this start in this game. I have played it in Seeker 2, but never in Seeker 3. Kinda exciting. It's a very difficult start, because they have a much bigger army than we do. I guess like the way to defeat them would be by using like mercenaries and stuff like that, and try to get some early alliances. Seems like a sound strategy to deal with the Turks. But I hope you have enjoyed this, guys. I was just wanted to put up this quick video to go through the patch notes, basically, because that's something I feel like we should be doing in the future now. It's a fun thing to do, and you seem to be enjoying it, so I'm going to keep on doing that in the future, hopefully, if I have the time and basically the energy to do it. But as of right now, I'm going to try keep on doing those kinds of videos if you want them. So that's all that I have to say about today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe if you have enjoyed it, as I said, and leave a comment too if there's something in this patch that you want to discuss further, if it's something that I have misunderstood, or if you simply just want to put in a comment for any reason whatsoever. So see you soon, guys. Have a nice evening, and see you soon. Bye.